coming up on today's episode of the Moneypants Podcast. Do you ever feel like when you got married, your life was over and you lost your sense of identity? If so, you're not alone. Society places bizarre and unhealthy expectations on parents. It doesn't need to be that way. Moms and dads are people too, with talents and abilities and major things to contribute. Perhaps even the most important contributions of all. Today, we'll talk about the top 10 reasons moms and dads should use Moneypants Boss and why it may be the greatest thing since sliced bread. Plus, how Moneypants stops all sorts of fights in the home, including fights about money. All this and more, but first, the joke of the day.
A couple was going out for the evening. The last thing they did was put the cat out. The taxi arrived, and as the couple walked out of the house, the cat shoots back in. So the husband goes back inside to chase the cat out. The wife didn't want to let anybody know that the house would be empty, so she explains to the taxi driver, "Oh, he's just going upstairs to say goodbye to my mother." A few minutes later, the husband gets into the taxi and says, "Sorry it took so long. The stupid thing was hiding under the bed and I had to poke her with a coat hanger to get her to come out." Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Moneypants Podcast. We're your hosts, Hannah and Fontaine Judd, and we're the proud parents of 7 sons and 6 daughters, ranging in age from college student to toddler. We're both BYU graduates and the creators of Moneypants. Head on over to CaptainMoneyPants.com to learn more about what we do and what we're all about. We're on a mission to support families who are trying to raise hardworking kids and to combat the current trend of entitlement. But more importantly, we believe every person on this planet has a unique mission and at least one superpower to help them accomplish that mission. Our goal is to help everyone discover and develop their superpowers and fulfill their destinies. Moneypants is really just the nuts and bolts of how to do it. So today's topic is Moneypants Boss. And I think that's apropos because mom and dad are kind of the people that make everything happen. Like they're I don't know, if everybody has a superpower, then it's like mom and dad are the mentors, the Obi-Wan Kenobis, the Yodas of the...
Yeah, but at the same time, the parents, mom and dad, have superpowers.
Right.
And a big attitude that we run into is once you're a parent, oh, no, your talents and things don't matter. Your job is to just, help your children grow and succeed, and everything should be dedicated 100% to your children.
No. But that's just that's not the mentality. The mentality isn't that help your children grow and succeed. The mentality is you're now subservient to your children. Your job is to give them everything they want.
Yes.
That's
but
the
it's
new
under
mentality.
the guise. It's under the guise of, oh, this is what a good parent does, and this is what's good for the children. And what's funny about it is it actually doesn't help the children succeed in the long run.
No.
For parents to become these slaves to their children. At the same time...
Well, no, because it kind of ends up translating mom is the maid and dad's the breadwinner, and that's kind of it.
Their job is to just do everything we want them to do.
And mom and dad's lives are over. And all they do is, all they exist is to do the kids' bidding. Play taxi, to take them to different things or to...
Yeah, the kids are the ones that are important and they're going places. And with this attitude, it's not surprising to me that a lot of young adults are not getting married and they're not having children. Because why would they?
Yeah, why would you?
Why would you do that?
No,
why would you give away all your freedom, throw away your life,
Well, when you get married, your life is essentially over. That's it. You're done. And we even have terms for that. We call it settling down. Like, I think that's humorous, Hannah, because have we settled down since we've gotten married?
No.
Oh my God.
I need a vacation.
I need a break. I need a break from parenting.
I know.
My life has definitely not settled down. But and we wanted to talk about that today, though. Like, this
attitude. Well, before we go on, though, when I was in high school, I was very competitive. I was a go-getter. I made really good grades. I was involved in a lot of activities. I was even voted most likely to succeed in my high school class. And what was funny is so many people, teachers, mentors, people at church, people I knew, would say things to me, especially as I was getting close to graduation. They would say, well, just don't waste your life. Don't get married and don't start popping out babies like your mom did. And okay, first off, like I rejected some people who said that to me, where like I was taking ballet at a place and somebody said that, like, don't become a loser like your older sister and get married young. And I quit going there because I was just like, and
That's really offensive.
Yeah, and these were adults, and I was only in 8th grade, and she's just going to get married and start popping out babies like your mom did. And just wasting her life and all her talents. She was also voted most likely to succeed, my older sister. And she's awesome. And she's who you would want to be your mother. You know,
she's a
the
great
type
mom.
but basically they were saying if you have any brains in your head, if you have any talents, it is a complete waste. You're going to throw all that away. All that ends once you get married and have children. Yeah. And this is a very common attitude.
And it's wrong.
It's wrong.
This is wrong.
But just further that along, even after I was married and had kids, people would make comments like that as well. Where one of my mentors said, "It's so funny, you and this other girl, you guys were always, in between practices, you guys were always so worried about your homework and you were really applying yourselves and doing all this. And both of you just got married and had kids." And they named somebody else off who, there's this girl who was sleeping around and didn't give a flip about her grades. And they said, but this person became a microbiologist. But the point was, you guys were like so smart and so worried and you threw it all away. Whereas this girl who had nothing going on upstairs, she now is the successful one. And you two are the losers. Isn't that funny how it worked out? And I was just
Hannah,
like,
there are so many problems.
What
with
an
that.
insult!
There are so many problems. So let's back up just. I want to break that down just because I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I want to break that down just a little bit. What that means is that only idiots should be parents, and only people who've given up on life should be parents, and people who are smart should not be parents. What?
The hand that rocks the cradle rules the world.
Yeah.
You really want idiots ruling the world?
Like that mentality, but that's the mentality we're dealing with, where that's kind of a pervasive idea. And obviously not everybody holds that mentality, but for some reason that's kind of caught hold in our culture where only losers and idiots can and should be parents. And then we get mad when people who aren't educated are parents. It's like, well, which is it? Like, you can't have it both ways. Either I'm well educated, I'm going to go get her, and I'm going to be successful, and I'm going to have kids, or...
And I'm going to use all my talents and stuff to become a good mom and raise the next generation, or...
I'm a loser? Like, it's weird.
Who is it that you expect to have children?
Yeah.
And at what point do you expect them to have children? When their bodies are breaking down and they're too old to have children?
Yeah. So,
there are
these some very unfortunate societal norms that we're kind of
bizarre
against.
Expectations. But this isn't uncommon because, like, once again, as a young adult, I was living in Burbank and I had two friends who had been school teachers who put their careers on hold and became stay-at-home moms. And both of them on separate occasions said, I know I'm doing the right thing as a stay-at-home mom, but I really miss being a professional. I really miss having that sense of identity and a feeling important. And it was sad because I knew what they were talking about, because when I lived in LA and I would tell people, yeah, I'm a stay-at-home mom in LA, where it's who you know and everybody trying to get ahead. If I would go to one of my husband's work parties and, where everybody's trying to hobnob and get to know people who could further their career along, they'd say, oh, so what do you do? And I'd say, well, I'm a stay-at-home mom. And they would literally not say one more word to me, and they would go, oh, and turn around and walk away. And because I wasn't worth talking to, I wasn't important. So I understood these moms and how demoralizing it was to be treated that way by society. But what you have to recognize is that is not true. Yeah. And a lot of these expectations on parents and of what it means to be a parent, and there's a lot of falsehoods there. And so we kind of want to address that today, that parents are people too. You have a mission in life. You have talents. You are an individual. And just because you got married and had children doesn't mean, oh yeah, that part of your life's over. And so we're going to...
Matter of fact, we say it's the opposite.
Yeah.
That's when life really begins. Because this mentality that you can't be contributing, or that you're a loser if you're not a professional. That's really sad that your friends felt that way, Hannah.
Yeah.
But
that's how they were treated.
But there's a quote that I love, and it's, no success can compensate for failure in the home. In other words, the most important work that you do, the most valuable, important work you could possibly ever accomplish, is actually within the walls of your own home. As you said, Hannah, raising the next generation. I can't think of a more noble, amazing, and thrilling thing to do than trying to raise, and I say trying because it's not always successful, but trying to raise amazing people. And as we say, everybody on the planet has at least one superpower. And it's really cool to discover the one superpower or multiple superpowers that your children have. I mean, only recently it was really cool. We discovered one of Ruby's superpowers. She can draw like nobody's business. Her ability to create art boggles my mind. I'm like, I don't know where it came from, but we've systematically tried and encouraged her and helped her develop that talent. And oh my gosh, she just gets better and better. It's only been a couple of years since we discovered this superpower. And it's like, wow, it's like she could now easily compete with any of these artists that you see.
Yeah, professional artists.
And she's what, 15?
Yeah.
Holy smokes. And that's really cool, because that's what we get to do as parents. Like, we get to discover these things about our kids.
It's thrilling. It's thrilling.
It's really cool. Anyway, so we are suggesting that parents, as you said, Hannah, parents are people too. And parents have superpowers. And you shouldn't stop developing or discovering your superpowers when you get married. No. What a horrible time to stop. It's like, oh, well, here I am. I'm Luke Skywalker, and I discovered, I've got the Force flowing through me, and the rebellion needs me. And I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm done.
I got married.
I figured out that I have this superpower, and yep, I'm getting married. Sorry, guys.
My life's over. I'm checking out. It's like,
no,
wait, what?
Take your wife with you, and you guys go and fight the rebellion together. You guys... And it's even more exciting. And then you have kids and they join in the fight, and it's really fun because you're all working together.
We're all about fighting.
Yeah, well, okay. I'm trying to use an example here. Just the one that popped into my head.
Anyway.
So what we're going to do is we're going to play something we recorded a few years ago. We did a podcast more than a year ago. And we recently listened to it and we're like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. We don't need to re-record because I thought we did a bang up job before. So we're just going to insert that as soon as you and I, Hannah, we finish this introduction. But a couple of quick caveats. One, we changed the Moneypants system a little bit. It used to be, when we first started out, well, not used to be, we still want to do this, but it was Moneypants is supposed to be for the entire family budget. And then the stuff that the kids earn was a subset of that. And
it
so
was working within the whole budget. Yeah. But we haven't gotten to that point yet.
So Moneypants still works within the family budget, but part of it was the vacation budget. And we haven't worked that part out yet. And so we're going to skip that part of what we're going to do is we're going to share the top 10 reasons that parents should use Moneypants.
But we're going to skip number 2.
We'll
so don't be weirded out when it goes from number 1 to number 3. We actually do know how to count.
It's just we're going to skip the part about vacation budget because we're not done with that part yet. Number 2 is going to be missing. Okay, and so having said that, we'll let it play. Here we go. Welcome to the weekly Moneypants podcast. I'm Fontaine.
And I'm Hannah.
And today we're going to talk about Moneypants Boss.
Yeah, Moneypants Boss is the program for parents that goes along with the Moneypants solution, and it's where you, the parents, put on the money pants. And so we want to talk about that because you may be thinking, I'm fine with just my kids doing this. But we want to talk to you about why you will want to consider putting on...
You, the parent.
You, the parent, would want to consider doing the Moneypants program. And so to give you a little bit of backstory, over the years, we've developed and refined Moneypants. And our kids were developing all these talents and abilities. And it got to the point where I was looking at them going, oh my goodness, they're better at doing this than I am. They're better at this than I am.
They're better prepared for life than I was at their age. That's
yeah.
for sure.
And I was like, I was just a pinch jealous. And then it occurred to me that, wait a minute, all of this is, the whole Money Pants, all it is proper goal setting techniques. And I'm like, wait, there's no reason why I shouldn't be doing this as well. And so I thought about it and I'm like, well, up to this point in my marriage, my husband and I would give ourselves basically a monthly allowance of money we could go.
Do you remember what it started out with when we first got married?
Yeah, when we first got married, it was,
remember?
Yeah, $10. It was $10 when we were dirt poor newlyweds.
$10
a month. Yeah, $10
$10
a month.
a month.
And it was precious, precious money. Anyway, and that was money I could, if I was invited to a baby shower, I could buy a present for my friend, or, I could go get my hair cut if I saved it up for 2 months or something like that. And so it was my precious $10 that was just for me to spend however I wanted it. And as our income changed, that amount of money got bigger. So it got up to like $150
$150 a month, yeah.
Yeah, and so I bought a gym membership with it. I did all sorts of stuff with that. And so what I thought is, I'm like, hey, that's kind of, I loved having that. I loved having that personal money. But
So
I thought,
I liked that. I liked having it allocated, so I knew, like, okay, if I save up for 3 months, then I can get this new part for my computer.
and I really looked forward to it a lot. And so that's really important. That's really good. But I thought, well, why don't we take it a step further and do what we've done with the kids? How about my husband and I still have that $150 available to us, but it's contingent. We have to earn that $150
it's the reward
for
accomplishing our goals.
For reaching our goals.
Yeah.
And so I had my husband create a chart for me that was compatible with the amount of money that we had set aside. And I had goals that, things that I always want to do. I want to say my prayers every morning. I want to read my scriptures. I want to spend one-on-one time with my kids. I want to do gardening once a week. Things like that, where I'm like, they're goals things I've always wanted to do, but I write in my journal. I was kicking myself. I had this big family, big crazy family, and I'm not writing in my journal, and the years are going by. I kept putting it off. So we made the chart, and it was so satisfying. All of a sudden, I started accomplishing goals that had been on my list of goals I wanted to achieve. I actually started accomplishing them. And so yes, I was earning this money, and it was kind of like a game, but it worked. It worked, and it was so effective. All of a sudden, I was doing things I had wanted to do for years, and all because of Moneypants Boss, what we're calling Moneypants Boss, where me, the parent, put myself in the program that my kids were already doing. So today we want to talk about we thought of the top 10 reasons for using the Moneypants Boss program. And what's cool about it is you can actually use Moneypants if you don't even have any kids at all.
Yeah.
Like if it's just you and your spouse, you can do what we're talking about today.
So what we're going to do is we're going to go over the top 10 reasons to use Moneypants Boss. Here's a quick overview. Number 1, maybe we should go backwards. No, it doesn't matter. These aren't in any particular order. Number 1, it eliminates fights about money between spouses. Number 2, it works seamlessly with the family vacation budget. Number 3, it eliminates anxiety by dividing up parental responsibilities in the home. Number 4, it helps adults progress and become happier and more satisfied with their lives. Number 5, it creates a stronger sense of teamwork and synergy in the home. Number 6, it ensures that Moneypants for the kids is successful. Number 7, it prevents drudgery when it comes to parenting, because a lot of times we'll talk about that, but a lot of times parenting kind of becomes the grind. Number 8, it improves family relationships. Number 9, you'll be setting a good example for your kids. And number 10, the number 10 top reason to use Moneypants Boss is it will reduce criticism and promote appreciation in the home.
Okay, so let's start with number 1. It eliminates fights about money between spouses. So how does it do that? Well, it does that because it keeps discretionary money separate from money set aside for bills and savings. With Moneypants Boss, you, the parent, can spend money completely guilt-free and know that it won't cause a financial hardship for the family. Why? Because with Moneypants Boss, each spouse has their own debit card that is kept separate from the family account. So it's crystal clear how much discretionary money you personally have. There's no confusion. And by having these accounts, you'll avoid fights about, oh, why did you buy this? Or we don't need this. Or you spend money and I'm scrimping and saving, counting out every penny, and I never get to spend money on what I want or need. So you're not going to have fights like that. Instead, you can spend the money guilt-free that's in your account, knowing it won't compromise the family finances in any way, and that you accumulated the money in your account by taking care of your family and developing habits that make you a better parent and a better spouse. So that money that you have to spend is very positive, and it's completely guilt-free, and you can be confident about spending it. Okay, so number 3, it eliminates anxiety by dividing up parental responsibilities in the home.
Okay, this may be one of my favorite
Yeah,
ones.
if you go onto YouTube, you'll see that this is a common fight that people have, is the chores at home. Who's supposed to be doing what between husband and wife?
And Moneypants Boss, all it does, basically, it divides that up.
It divides it up, so there's
agreement. You guys talk about it, because a lot of times, here's the thing, you have fights, you don't even know why you're having a fight. You're just fighting about the same stupid stuff that you're always fighting about, and you're like, why do we always fight about this? Well, it's because you never sat down and talked about it.
Yeah.
And Moneypants Boss, all it does is kind of sets it up, brings it out into the open, and says, oh,
let's decide this.
Here
Let's
are
talk
the
about
things that we need to
this.
talk about, and it divides up the jobs.
Yeah. And so it prevents conflict over whose turn it is to do things, and fights like, why am I the only one who changes diapers or does the dishes? Why am I the poop checker?
Yeah.
When
Thank you,
Moneypants
Sid,
Boss,
from Ice Age.
When Moneypants Boss is implemented, all jobs in the house get assigned out. All parties are properly motivated to consistently do their part, and the job substitution backup is already set up. So everything's in place. There's all the backup plan. So
Also,
in the event,
even if you are the one always changing the diaper, you're getting paid for it.
yeah,
So
you're not going to complain about it. You'll be like, yeah, this is my job.
Not only is it my job, but I'm getting paid for it. So fine, okay, I'll do it.
In fact, when we first had kids, I did this for myself. I really did not like changing poopy diapers, and I knew I needed to face the fear. So I quit asking my husband and he was great. He would change the baby's diaper anytime I asked, but I quit asking him to change it so I would get used to doing it and not be always hoping that you would do it. But anyway, so it's the same principle for adults. And so the nice thing is this whole system's already set up. So if you are unavailable, if you're sick, if you're unavailable, or you have something else going on and you are unable to fulfill your responsibilities at home, like for example, if your spouse is in charge of getting dishes done and they're out of town or late for work, they're covered. You have the whole substitution system already in place. And there's no resentment from anyone because everyone's compensated for their work.
Okay, number 4. It helps adults progress and become happier and more satisfied with their lives. Now, this is a crazy claim, but it's true. Humans, which includes parents, are only happy when they are improving and progressing. You'll improve a lot faster and on a much more consistent basis when you use Moneypants Boss. Why? Because it utilizes all the proper goal-setting techniques. The quote I love, and I say it over and over again, is, when performance is measured, performance improves. When performance is measured and reported, the rate of improvement accelerates. In other words, if you track your goals, and then you report to somebody about how you're doing on your goals, you're going to reach your goals a lot faster. So
it's just a true principle.
And Moneypants Boss just applies these basic principles of goal setting, like you make specific, reasonable goals that can be measured, you track your progress, you report your progress on a regular basis.
That's payday.
And you reward yourself for your progress.
That's also payday.
And so you can actually view Moneypants as the ultimate goal-achieving program for the whole family. And as you start achieving personal goals and improving your relationships and developing your talents, you'll be happier and more enthusiastic about life in general. The Moneypants Boss is just a goal-setting tool. That's all it is, to help you be happier as a parent. And as you use it in connection with the Moneypants solution, you'll actually have the time to develop those talents and develop those relationships with your kids because you'll have more time because you're not the only one doing all the work.
Yeah. So number 5 is it creates a stronger sense of teamwork and synergy in the home. So you already have your kids on the Moneypants program, and you're making the effort to hold payday every week for your kids, right? You have the app or you have the paper charts, And why have a separate goal setting program for yourself? Simplify things, consolidate things, plug yourself into the system that you're already using, that's already working, and that's already in place. If you do that, it actually creates unity and synergy to have everyone working together, and you accomplish more in the time that you set aside to make the whole Money Pants program work. So it's not just benefiting your kids, it's benefiting you and your spouse.
And the nice thing is, Money Pants does work.
Yeah, it does. It's the most effective goal-setting techniques you can possibly use.
Number 6, Moneypants Boss ensures that Money Pants for the kids succeeds. And this is why. Daily inspections and weekly payday. This was not haphazard. This was not random. This was not accidental. It is crucial because the entire program depends on those 2 tasks being completed by the parents.
Yeah.
Daily inspections, weekly payday.
If a parent doesn't do those 2 things, Money Pants does not work. The daily inspections, weekly payday.
Well, no, we discovered that. Most parents, when they're not motivated, they'll fizzle out on carrying out these responsibilities after a couple of weeks.
Yeah, so
maybe it'll last a month, but really, you just kind of fizzle out.
You're human, and that's just how it is. And so, but those 2 jobs are so important because if the parents don't do that, the kids don't do their job. So it's on Money Pants Boss. That's one of the required goals on Money Pants, and let's explain why. Why are they the highest paid?
Well, we just did, because if you don't do payday and if you don't do daily inspections, the whole system falls apart.
Yeah, but also the thing is you, the parent, you're gonna go back to having to do all the housework yourself.
So if you don't do payday and if you don't do weekly payday and if you don't do daily inspections, your kids won't do their jobs.
Yeah, and you're
the
going
whole
to end
system
up
falls
cleaning
apart,
the whole
and then
house
you
by
go,
yourself
okay, I see
again.
what you're saying. Yeah, you'll just
and
end up going back to you, the one doing all the work.
Yeah, and then you're not going to have time to do any of the other goals on your chart. You're not going to have time to practice a talent or to do anything else. You're too busy cleaning up after everyone else.
Yep.
And so that's that aspect of it. Okay, which number are we on?
Number 7.
Number 7. Oh, it prevents drudgery.
That's a great word.
Yeah, drudgery. Okay, so many parents resent rewarding their kids for their work and contributions. And I've heard this a couple times.
We've heard this a lot.
They say, why should I reward my kids? I don't get paid or rewarded for what I do. I'm not going to pay them. And what we say in response is, that's a problem. You should be rewarding yourself for what you accomplish.
You, the parent, should be rewarded for what you, the parent, do. Why not?
Yeah,
why not reward yourself?
It's very healthy for parents to be rewarding themselves for their hard work and effort. Otherwise, everything becomes drudgery. So Money Pants rewards you, the parent, with spending money. It gives you something to look forward to and to plan with. And you can use that money to go out to lunch with your friends, buy gifts, shop, buy a book, go to the salon, donate to charity, take piano lessons, get a gym membership, upgrade your computer, buy a plane ticket, decorate, etc. Yeah. So there's a healthy balance in the home where parents and kids have things to work for and look forward to.
And it does. It eliminates the drudgery of being a parent. Because a lot of times, let's admit it, parenting sometimes devolves into the daily grind.
Yeah, and you hear people are like, I lamenting about, gosh, I had so much fun when I was single and all this.
And then I settled down.
Good
grief. Have we settled down, Hannah?
No, we haven't settled down.
Not since we got married and had kids.
But it doesn't need to be that way. If you're feeling that way, something's wrong.
Yeah, you should still be developing your talents and abilities. As a matter of fact, you should be better at it than your kids because you've had a lot more practice. You should be able to have, spend more time doing your artwork or working on your piano playing or working on...
You should still be a person. You're
skills.
Still a person.
Yeah.
Just because you're a parent doesn't mean you're a person anymore. You're still a person and you still need to be developing and progressing.
Oh, and we'll talk about... number 9's good, but let's go to number 8 first. Okay. Number 8, it will improve family relationships. So the reason Money Pants Boss will improve family relationships is because it helps you prioritize and manage your time. And we kind of touched on that a little bit earlier, but when you use Money Pants Boss, it helps you focus on spending individual time with your spouse and your kids that is so important for developing relationships. The whole one-on-one time, critical in the family, both with your spouse, but also with each one of your children. Also, it helps you take better care of yourself. That's another one of the goals. Often as a parent, we're so dedicated to caring for those around us that we forget to take care of ourselves, really. But it makes us less effective as parents. We hear the analogy all the time. If you're on an airplane, there's an emergency, the oxygen masks drop down, and they instruct you to put on your mask first before helping anybody else. And you're like, oh, that's so selfish. No, it's not. Because you can't help anybody else if you're incapacitated.
Yeah, if you've passed out, you're really not going to be able to help your kids put on their oxygen masks.
And so what we're suggesting is take care of yourself first, then you'll be able to take care of your kids.
Yeah.
And that's part of the Money Pants set. If we're not taking the time to exercise and refuel spiritually, get sufficient rest, develop our talents, we really aren't able to give as much to our families. So Money Pants Boss helps put that balance back into the personal lives of parents. As a result, you, the parent, will feel more energetic, more positive, more enthusiastic, and more patient with both your children and your spouse.
And we could all use a little more patience, right? I know I can. So anyway, number 9, you'll be setting a good example for your kids. With Moneypants Boss, you're teaching your kids, with Moneypants, just the Moneypants program, you teach your kids to work hard, to be consistent, to care for themselves, set goals, and to strive for balance and health, and to develop their minds and their talents. And so how wonderful for them to see that those things will continue as they get married and have children of their own.
Through your example.
Yeah. They're going to see you caring for yourself, you working hard to improve, and you rewarding yourself for your work. And when your kids see that, they'll want to be more like you, and they'll realize that what they're doing with setting goals and learning to care for themselves, they'll realize that it's very important.
And it's going to go with them for the rest of their lives.
It's something that they need to take with them their whole lives.
And number 10, the 10th reason the Moneypants Boss is something you should definitely use. It will reduce criticism and at the same time promote appreciation. By you, the parent, focusing on your own habits and improvement, you'll understand what your kids are experiencing. And this goes back to what my wife was saying at the beginning, where she was explaining how she made her own little chart of goals that kind of matched up what the kids were doing. She had on her list of daily chores, and she had a list of daily habits and weekly chores and habits. And I remember her saying, it was interesting to me, at one point she turned to me and she said, honey, this is really tough. It's tough to get everything done every day. Yet here we are expecting it of our children to get their jobs done and get their habits done and on a daily basis, and I'm having trouble doing it myself.
Well, and I wasn't doing nearly as well as the kids. Like, they were getting way more marks on theirs than I was getting on mine. But I remember feeling so proud of all those marks where I'm like, I've started writing in my journal.
I remember how happy you were.
Every mark was an improvement of something I was doing.
Sweetie, I worked my journal every day this week.
That I hadn't been doing before.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was like reading my scriptures, and it was just so gratifying. And I was so much happier. I was just so much happier. So, but when we went to our first payday, I looked at my chart and how pleased I was with myself. And I looked at my kids' charts and I looked at, wow, they've done so much more. And I thought, I'm so proud of myself. How would I feel if somebody were to be like, why didn't you do more?
Right.
I see you missed that. And I'm like, I get it.
And so that's why when we talk about payday, there's no room for criticism. There's no room. Mm-hmm. When you're working on goals, there's no room for criticism. And when you use Moneypants and you're working on these goals, come payday, that's the last thing you want to hear is, well, why didn't you write in your journal on Thursday?
Yeah.
No, I wrote in my journal 6 days this week. I missed one day. Before this, I wasn't writing in my journal ever.
Yeah, and quite frankly, we all have off weeks, but payday is great because I realized going through that experience myself it's kind of a reset time. And you go, oh, I need to reorganize my day and rework some things. How am I going to get this done?
So when you use Moneypants Boss, you'll understand why you don't want to criticize your kids on payday.
You'll understand what they're going through.
And you'll understand the importance of treating payday as a reward. And it is, because you're rewarding them for their goals. You're rewarding yourself for your goals. And you'll understand why having payday each week is so critical. Not every 2 weeks, not once a month. It has to be weekly, because for some reason that weekly payday, that weekly assessment, it refuels and resets you for the next week. And at the same time, it builds trust. You trust yourself. You're like, I rewarded myself for the goals I accomplished. I can do it again.
Yeah. And the other, and I think ultimately the best thing is you will feel so much happier as you see yourself reaching your goals. You will just feel so much better about yourself, so much more confident and so much happier. And then when you see that with yourself, you'll realize that's what this is doing for my kids. That's what, them learning to care for themselves and follow through and learn that consistency. That's what they're going through. And you going through it yourself, it makes you more committed to going, you know what, this is what I want to do with my kids, because this is helping me so much and I am so much happier. So those are the top 10 reasons to use Moneypants Boss, and we hope you take advantage of that part of the system.
Well, just a quick recap. So here are the 10 again. Yeah. It eliminates fights about money between spouses. Number 2, it works seamlessly with the family vacation budget. Number 3, it eliminates anxiety by dividing up parental responsibilities in the home. Number 4, it helps adults progress and become happier and more satisfied with their lives. Number 5, it creates a stronger sense of teamwork and synergy in the home. Number 6, it ensures that Moneypants for the kids succeeds. Number 7, it prevents drudgery in parenting. Number 8, it improves family relationships. Number 9, you'll be setting a good example for your kids. And number 10, it'll reduce criticism in the home and promote appreciation. And that's it.
So there you go. Those are the top 10 reasons to use Moneypants Boss.
So just do it. Just use it. Okay, so that was...
So what more can we say to get you to go, wait, what,
Parents totally should be using Moneypants. 100%, without a doubt, no question about it, because, like we said, parents are parents too. And I think we did a good job summarizing. Like all those 9 reasons. What else do you need, I do want to clarify, though, just a couple of things. We no longer recommend using separate debit cards and having separate bank accounts. We had suggested that because we had read that, and that was a trend, but we don't recommend that anymore.
We did testing. We did testing on our own children
since that time.
Yeah, and found that when they used debit cards or virtual money, that it didn't seem as much of a reward, but also they weren't as careful with their spending.
And we did that whole blog and podcast about the power of cold hard cash. And
yes.
And we recommend exact same thing for the parents.
Yeah. Well, after we did that experiment with our kids of using virtual cash or virtual money and debit cards and all that, we then looked it up. Dave Ramsey, who's the guru on staying out of debt,
money guru,
yeah,
sure.
And managing money responsibly. He had a whole spiel about why adults should use cash and kind of avoid plastic. And so as far as for Moneypants Boss, and we, instead of having a separate bank account, we recommend that you have cash.
Yeah,
have a cash bag just like the kids.
Just like the kids, yep.
And that works really well. And it's funny because the other day I went to the store to buy some items. I had $14 with me. That's how much money I had to spend. And I was like, oh, I'll get 4 of those, but not if it's more than $14. And the lady's like, oh, yeah, you're fine. It's $14.80. And I'm like, no, I have $14. I'll just get 3. And she was like, oh, weirded out about it. But I was actually pleased because I got, a couple of my bucks back and put them back in my money bag, and I stayed within my budget.
But if you'd had a debit card with overdraft protection,
it
would have been so easy.
Yeah.
And 80 cents, what's 80 cents? But it adds up. What if you did
or
that?
Or the family won't notice if I just put this on the card, but I'm not allowed putting my purchases on the family card.
But Hannah, what if the husband and wife both did that multiple times a day, and just 80 cents each? So it's $1.60 each per day, times 7 days. Okay, well, all of a sudden you're, $7, $8, $9, $10 for the year. It's a couple $100.
And that's just cents. I mean, how many times do you go, oh, it's just $10 more.
Yeah, but when it's
put
cash,
it on the card.
And I don't want to go into the detail about this because we have that great podcast, but with cash, and if mom and dad are both on the cash system, you don't overspend. It's just...
It's very magical. So the point is, parents are people people too. And a lot of the things that work for the kids, the same principles that work for the kids, actually work for the parents as well and are very effective. And then the last thing I wanted to mention was that when we recorded this was just, kind of our, hey, this is what we had experienced, this is what we had learned. Mm-hmm. Later, I read in the Wall Street Journal, they had a financial advisor talking about how spouses often get in fights about money. Mm-hmm. And I read the whole article, and in the end, it said, hey, the solution to this is to avoid these fights. The people who have the healthiest relationships with money, they actually have separate accounts, spending accounts for each person in the marriage, where they have their own allowance, they said, and they have their own cards, and that prevents all these fights. And I was like, well, that's what we do in Money Pants. That's perfect. So it's
all in line with what the money managers and these gurus say.
Yeah, it's
correct
actually
principles.
These are correct principles. This is what the experts say if you want to avoid fights about money. And it does so much more than that, though. When you're using the Money Pants system, it brings out the best in you as a person. You're a better husband, you're a better wife, you're a better person, a better individual, and you're so much happier when you see yourself progressing.
Well, that's my favorite part.
Yeah.
Hands down, my favorite part.
It's so satisfying.
Is doing the things that I want to do and getting rewarded for it. And I do. Money Pants is for mom and dads. Absolutely. And anyway, that's it. Those are all the comments. Those are all the thoughts we had on Money Pants Boss. Why mom and dad absolutely should use Money Pants. If you like what you hear in this podcast, please tell your friends. They may like to listen too. There may be something in here that they need or they're looking for. Please share it. Tell your friends, hey, try the Money Pants podcast. You'd be surprised. They'd be like, oh, wow, yeah, I do need something like that in my life. And if you have a suggestion for a future podcast, please go to our website under support, click contact us, send us an email, and we'll get right on it. And that's it for today. Enjoy a Falcon Jasper crazy kicking chorus. We'll see you next time.